Thank you, Jason. We appreciate your time.
Sounds great. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thanks.
Welcome, I'm Kevin Kelly with the City of Auburn Parks and Rec Department. I'm the Financial Project Manager for Auburn Parks and Rec. I want to welcome you to Denius Park. We are in the beginning stages of construction here. This park will eventually have a driveway with parking spots, a playground, a bathroom building, a large and small dog park, as well as walking trails. As of now, the site is not available for anybody to be on because we are in the process of construction. Please give us some time. Hopefully we'll open sometime in the late spring. At the time right now, you can see behind me, we are doing a process of taking the trees and chipping them into a mulch. We're disturbing the ground as little as possible so we can keep the area the way it is when we came in here. Over to the left, we're going to have a playground area. Behind there, we'll have a bathroom building. The driveway will come off of Glen and it will circle around to the parking area and then circle back and go out on an exit road. And to the right, we have a large and small dog park. This beautiful area that we now have was given to us by Sally and Bob Denius. The stipulation of this property was that it would be a passive park, which means no athletic or anything other than walking trails, and to leave these beautiful trees up here so we can enjoy this area. It was roughly about 13 acres that they gave us, as well as $800,000 to defer the cost of building this park. We think this will be a great addition to Auburn Parks and Rec, and hopefully soon we'll be welcoming you here to enjoy the beautiful area that was given to us by the Denius family. Thank you, and we will be enjoying it soon.
Elizabeth Kaufman, and I'm the Therapeutic Programs Coordinator with the City of Auburn. Welcome to Town Creek Inclusive Playground. We're so excited to share some of our inclusive components with you today. To start us off, no matter how you get around, over 90% of our playground is covered in accessible turf and poured-in-place surfacing. If you need a place to get away, our sensory maze is the perfect option. Shaded and with great textured panels like lines, bubbles, and paper, we've got a great option for you if you need to step away. Many of our slides and a lot of our pieces of equipment are at a transfer height, so if you use a wheelchair, you can easily and safely transfer onto them to play. If you use a wheelchair and aren't able to transfer, enjoy our zero entry spinner that doesn't require a transfer height. Whether you like the chimes, drums, piano, or a xylophone, we have something for you in our music area. We have multiple types of swings available on the playground, so no matter your ability level, there is a swing for you. We have a multi-generational swing, an accessible swing seat, and traditional swing seats. In other areas of the playground, we also have tot swings, a tire swing, and a pendulum swing. Some of our playground structures have double wide ramps to allow for easier access, and one of my personal favorite components on the playground is our buddy rocker that allows for a person with a wheelchair to hop on. Think you're past the age of playing on a playground? Think again. We have this great bouldering wall, a Ninja Fit course, an accessible fitness course, and we have a quarter-mile loop around our playground for you to get your fitness on. If you know someone who uses a wheelchair or you have a stroller with you, we off-centered some of our benches so that you can pull someone in next to you and sit with them. Many of our benches have a cutout so they are wheelchair accessible. Another great feature is we have push-button doors on 2 of our 4 restrooms. No matter what height you need it at, we have all of your restroom needs covered. We hope that you've enjoyed this short tour of the new inclusive playground. Whether you use a cane, a wheelchair, if you're an older adult, a young child, if you have a vision impairment, a hearing impairment, or a sensory deficit, there's something for you in our new inclusive playground. From accessible pathways to poured-in-place surfacing and shade to a variety of equipment and different structures for every ability level, age, and interest. We really hope that you come and check out our new playground soon. Make sure to tag us on Facebook and Instagram.
College football Saturdays are back.
SEC Nation is in Auburn, baby.
Craziest. He's just invincible.
Welcome back to Invincible, the show where we tell the tales of our greatest athletic talents, striving to be invincible on and off the field. My name is Vince Wolfram, and I am so stoked that you're here. It's been a while since I've talked to you all. Just over 2 months ago,
Good evening, everyone. I would like to call the July 2026 Planning Commission Commission meeting to order. Please
Dana
call
Camp.
roll.
Here. Nanette Reese.
Here.
Vanessa Eccles. Here. Jennifer Loveren.
Here.
Joseph A. Strupp. Bill Chancellor.
Here.
Jennifer Stevens.
Here.
Oscar Mosley.
Here.
Walker Davis.
Here.
Thank you. Before we start, I'd like to give a brief overview of the process of the public meeting of the Auburn Planning Commission. The commission will be presented with agenda items by the city staff. Representative for the agenda item will then have the opportunity to make comments and or answer specific questions. I will then open a public hearing as appropriate, and this will be the opportunity for you to address the commission about the agenda item at hand. We want everyone to be heard, and I ask that you keep your time to 5 minutes and your comments relevant to the case at hand. After everyone has spoken, the public hearing will be closed, and a representative and or staff will have the opportunity to answer any questions that have been brought up during the public hearing. The commission will vote based on state and local laws, City Comprehensive Plan 2030, and in the general good of the community. In addition, I would like to summarize the role and responsibility related to approval of subdivision plats. By Alabama statute, a municipal planning commission such as ours is the final approval authority for subdivision plats. The commission acts as an administrative body and is bound by limitations contained in state laws, city zoning ordinance, and subdivision regulations. Our goal is to confirm that the plat meets or exceeds city regulations. If you will, please also sign in after you have spoken or before. And finally, I'd like to make a point of your attendance to know that the Planning Commission is an advisory board to the City Council, except in cases of subdivision plats. Thank you. At this time, I would like to open citizens' communication. This is somewhere where you'd like to address the council on anything that is not on tonight's agenda. Seeing no one, will move to old business.
Yes. Before we get started, I did just want to speak to something. I guess just kind of while we have a room full, and I'll probably do this at the next several meetings. We've had just kind of some issues with scammers, because there's not like a better word for it, but people kind of going through, pulling a lot of things from our staff reports, our packets that we put together, and kind of reaching out to private citizens, applicants, and developers, kind of posing BS and requesting payment. I was kind of made aware they had another attempt this week, and that's happened several times over the past months. And I think we're going to eventually work to probably put something on our website, kind of a disclaimer about really kind of communicating about how we do receive payment on things. I just want to make it very clear, we do not email anybody about wire transfers. We do not come up with bogus fees and try to get you guys to pay extra. Like I said, we've had multiple attempts, and people reach out to us for clarifying and asking us in good faith, like, hey, I'm trying to make this payment. Those are phishing attempts. Do not do that. Do not want you guys to fall victim to that. But I just wanted to make it very clear that we do not solicit payment through email, and that we do not solicit payment through wire transfer or any of those things. We have an official portal that all of our applicants are familiar with. Like I said, I mean, it's very, very detailed. It does look like us. I mean, they've copied logos. They've copied a lot of the things like in the staff report with a lot of accurate information, but please check those and verify. And if you do get an email like that, please do not hesitate to call a staff member who you're familiar with working with and talk to somebody and verify that it is a legitimate email. I just wanted to say that. And like I said, I will be saying that at the next meetings, because this has become a little more frequent. So we will eventually put something on the website with a disclaimer, letting people know and clarifying about how we actually do get payment for items. That was it.
Old business.
So the first item on the agenda is a conditional use request for commercial and entertainment use event center to be located at 1000 Main Street, Suite B, within the Midtown multi-use development. This was postponed from the last meeting pending inspections looking into the building and making sure that there are adequate facilities. That has since been resolved. I can answer any questions if you have them.
Yes. Mm-hmm. I think it came up in packet meeting, the types of events at this event center and the times of operation.
I don't think I have the times, but I believe their business does teas, showers, those sorts of events. Lunches,
Smaller ones,
yes,
yeah.
With smaller events.
Yeah, and I think also that'd be, if the applicants here, that's something they can speak to about what the ambitions would be, about what they want to do for the facility, with the facility.
And my question was, do they have an outside area, or is this just contained into this
I
space?
believe it's just contained within the building.
All right, great.
Okay, this does require a public hearing, so if you have anyone you would like to come before and speak about this agenda item, please do. Celebrations Event Center. Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioners,
Need the applicant to come answer some questions.
is the applicant present?
Oh man, did they?
Representative?
Yeah, they showed up at the last one, didn't they? I feel like they. Huh. Yeah. I guess they're not here tonight.
Well.
It's,
I guess we won't get that answered, will we, on the times?
The hours of
operation
operation.
and whether outside or just inside.
yeah, no, I mean I think it's an important distinction. So.
Yeah, the question for me was, are the events bounded by type? Because Section 512 of the zoning ordinance has a lot of uses and times. So, without
Yeah, so I guess kind of if y'all wanted to address it just kind of through conditions and kind of set those times and perimeters, like they had to be done by 9. Like I mean, we've done that. I think if you guys followed the tattoo parlor, that was one of the things that we did do. That had to be closed kind of 9:30, and then I think we had a lot of discussion internally about what that looked like and how that was enforced. But yeah, if you guys are free to kind of set conditions on if it can be outside, and then also because I said, I mean, the site plan shows that inside, that's what's been communicated to us. They're not really here to kind of advocate for themselves or really kind of explain what their intent is with the facility. But this is why people should come to their public hearings.
Yeah, I would feel a lot better hearing from the applicant versus arbitrary conditions on.
Yeah, I agree with that.
If we did do conditions,
So I guess
is next door. Does it have a time on it?
I don't think it does. And so I guess kind of not any specifically set by this. So since we have had the public hearing, we'd have to make a decision within y'all could postpone it again, but y'all would have to make a decision within 35 days, pretty much. And so that'd be at the next meeting. That'd have to be voted up or down. It'd have to be moved to council. So that's just it.
I mean, it's not like it's 50 acres of
No.
space, so I don't.
Yeah. But so I was just saying those are the options kind of before you. You guys can't postpone it again. You guys just would be obligated to make a decision at the next one. If you guys have any conditions that you want to place on it, you guys can. But like I said, I think kind of the understanding was that if there were concerns that they would probably be accompanied with conditions. So or they would be addressed through conditions.
So they haven't given any kind of indication of the types of events, even, like, do we have any kind of general?
Like I said, I think kind of what just what Reed was talking about, kind of like, tea, showers, things like that. I guess people want clarity. I guess like neighbors who kind of live south of the train tracks want clarity on if there will be any outdoor events, kind of what their times, and so those are questions that have been asked of them, and that I guess they have not provided specific answers to.
I'm having real trouble voting for this unless we have some kind of conditions set specifically that we do, or we hear from the applicant. We're just guessing right now.
Yeah, I think it's fair.
Okay, then I'll make a motion to postpone until August meeting.
Yeah.
Just a second.
Yeah, so date certain. I guess that's the August 13th.
Date certain of August 13th for KCU 2026-029.
Second. A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Next, we will move to consent agenda. Final plat and approval of meeting packet and regular from June.
Move to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. New business.
All right. Have a good bit of stuff to say on this one, so bear with me. All right. Now, this is a request from the City of Auburn to amend Article 2, which is definitions, Section 203, definitions. And Article 4, general regulations, Table 4-1, table of permitted uses. Section 406.03, road service uses. And Section 408.02, special development standards. And Table 4.3, standards for non-residential uses by district. And Article 5, detailed use regulations. Section 513.02A, minimum parking requirements by land use categories. And Section 513.02B, minimum parking requirements for specified uses in the City of Auburn zoning ordinance. This zoning amendment is for travel centers and truck stops. The function of this zoning text amendment is primarily designed to, number one, create definitions for heavy-duty trucks, extended parking, travel centers, and truck stops. Number two, allow travel center and truck stop uses conditionally within the Interstate Commercial District, or the ICD. Number three, establish special development standards for travel centers and truck stops specifically. Number four, create development standards for those said travel centers and truck stops. And number five, establish minimum parking requirements for road service uses and the travel centers and truck stops. Travel centers will be allowed to have shower stations and extended parking. For trucks, that the truck stop uses will not. That's the big distinction right here. By opting to allow these two new uses through conditional use in the ICD, this allows staff, Planning Commission, and City Council to review each case on a case-by-case basis. There has been a great deal of research that has gone into this zoning text amendment. Staff has looked at different travel centers and has also traveled to them, specifically ones such as Torch 85, Love's, Quick Trip, and the Pilot Travel Center, all to document various things such as parking, gas pumps, truck parking as well, showers, and different amenities. Input from numerous departments throughout various meetings have been taken into account, and the zoning text amendment has been reflected to the changes that have been asked. There is an amendment that is being proposed to this text amendment that I can talk about as well, specifically to the extended parking definition that adds a few words and also removes one section at the end that prohibits all extended parking except in the ICD. So we can talk about that a little bit more. But other than that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Do you have any questions before we open the public hearing? Okay, all right. We'll open the public hearing. This is the public hearing for zoning text amendment for travel center and truck stop. If you would like to come forward and speak to this agenda item, please do so. Seeing no one, we will close the public hearing. Commissioners?
I just have a question about truck stops. Okay, travel centers, we're talking about cars, trucks, correct? We're talking about both.
Yes,
And I'm
ma'am.
talking about tractor trailers when I say trucks, I'm sorry.
Yes,
We're
if you
talking
mean
about
like
both.
heavy-duty trucks, 18-wheelers.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Referring to both, those are both allowed within travel centers
Right.
and truck stops.
Okay. And then truck stop, we're just talking about 18-wheelers, aren't we?
Primarily, yes. I mean, there will probably be spots for getting gas, but they're
And
both cars and trucks are allowed in both. But you'll have extended parking as well as shower facilities and travel centers.
At travel centers,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
not truck stops?
No, ma'am.
So there's no overnight parking at truck stops?
No, ma'am. Those are primarily just for fueling up and going.
And going.
But you can still have, a convenience store per se for them to, a gas station.
Okay, is there overnight parking at travel centers?
Yes, extended parking.
For tractor trailers?
For heavy-duty commercial vehicles, yes.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. All right. That's all I had.
And then just for clarification, food service allowed in truck stops? Or is it just travel centers where you can have food service?
I think the differentiation is convenience store versus like restaurant use. Restaurant uses are allowed in travel centers,
Okay.
but not
truck stops.
truck stops. No.
Okay.
Did you ask your questions about parking, sales
I,
and
I,
leasing?
I had talking with Mr.
Okay.
Griffith before time, and
Okay.
so I have that taken care of.
So landscape buffer and that's not, okay. Commissioners, anything else? Or motions?
Motion to approve ZT 2026-002.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Yeah, whoa.
Whoa.
Needs to be amended. Yeah, that's kind of the thing that yeah.
So motion as
Amended.
amended.
Read.
Yeah. So, all right. So I guess what I handed you guys for the amended definition of extended parking, and so just with the amended definition of extended parking, and so that's with the red text that you guys have, and also that removes the extended parking is prohibited in every zoning district except for interstate commercial district.
Okay, so let's try this
Extended
again.
parking is prohibited in every zoning except interstate commercial.
Correct. That needs to be removed.
It's not on this one.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. So the amendment needs to be with the red text and the removal of just the last sentence in the definition. So essentially, just the amended definition of extended parking. Yeah. So it'd be a motion to approve with the amended definition of extended parking.
Okay. Well,
And
then I've got a question.
Yep.
Before we get through this. If extended parking is prohibited in every zone, okay, except ICD, never mind, I just read it.
We're good.
Read it again, okay.
There you go.
Never mind, I got it.
Okay.
You want me
I
to
have
try
a
it
motion
again?
and a second on the floor.
Yeah, if you guys could, so you guys are gonna have to reconsider the item, motion to approve that reconsider, and then you'll have the motion to approve the amendment, and then approve the motion again. So there are three motions that you need to make. So first, motion to reconsider.
All right.
I make a motion to reconsider ZT 2026-002.
Second.
Motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you. Let's reconsider.
All right. So then you need to make the motion to support the item, like to accept the amendments of the extended parking definition. So that's the red text, and then removing the extended parking is prohibited in every zoning district except for interstate commercial. So if you guys could read
Read it, yes.
Yeah. So please read that definition and then say we'd like to amend it, and then you guys would amend and then make the motion.
I make a motion to amend ZT 2026-002 extended parking so that any occupied vehicle, personal or commercial, or any heavy-duty truck, whether occupied or not, that is parked for a duration of time longer than 12 hours or overnight, that is beyond what is considered hourly parking.
All right.
Second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
All right, so then now you guys would motion to approve, like motion to approve as amended. There we go.
All right. Motion to approve ZT 2026-002 as amended.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
Yay.
Thank you.
Good Lord. I gotta write a cheat sheet down for these when they slip these ads in. That's a good case study.
All right, here we go.
All right, so the next item is a request for preliminary approval for a 50-lot performance residential development, 48 single-family residential lots, and 2 open space lots. This is located at the terminus of Tivoli Village Drive in the DDH PDD zoning district. The property is approximately 76 acres, and it's within the Tuscany Village Tivoli PDD. The smallest residential lot is 10,000 square feet. The largest is 28,000 square feet. The max density for an individual phase of a PDD is 8 dwelling units an acre and requires 15% open space. This phase has a density of 0.63 acres, dwelling units an acre, and 77% open space, which exceeds the requirement. And we did receive correspondence about this. I can read the questions that we were asked and then answer them, or do we want to?
Yeah, so I would say just kind of go over just kind of the details of the preliminary plat, and I guess you just kind of want to speak to that. I mean, I think it's fine just kind of answer them.
Okay, so there were questions about minimum lot widths and sizes and the average in comparison to the adjoining subdivision on Heritage Ridge Lane, which is, I think, Ashton Lakes subdivision. So the average lot size for this new subdivision is approximately 12,000 square feet. And then the lot width for lots that aren't on a curve or on a corner, the average is in the mid to upper 70s. So a lot of 75 to 80 foot lot widths. In comparison to the lots on Heritage Ridge Lane, these are smaller, but it's also not a part of Heritage Ridge Lane. I think that's where some of the confusion came in. Moving forward, this plat will not be named Heritage Ridge. It won't be able to be called that for public safety purposes. This is a part of the Tivoli-Tuscany Village PDD and that neighborhood, and it's consistent with the lots within that neighborhood. There won't be a buffer, but there is a approximately 70-foot wide open space lot that separates these two, plus the additional setbacks for the houses that are already built and then the houses that will be built. That rear setback for those houses will be 20 feet. Stormwater analysis and traffic will all be discussed during DRT, but if engineering wanted to answer some of those questions about that, they can. How close will homes be built to the rear property line, and also will fences be required or permitted? For most lots on Heritage Ridge Lane, there is, like I mentioned, there's that 70-foot wide open space lot. Lots 9 and 10, which are right here, do directly abut those two lots within Ashton Lakes. That one lot that is next to 10 is an open space lot for Ashton Lake, and then the lot 9 backs up to a lot that's the house is set back 170 feet from that property line. Fences, we won't require fences, but I'm sure they'll be allowed to be built. The developer can talk on that. How many existing mature trees will be preserved, and construction impact, I'll let the developer answer those questions that the citizen had. But I can answer any of y'all's questions if you have them.
There was a question, you answered Heritage Ridge subdivision name, but an access easement to open space will be required, is that?
Yes, so for this particular subdivision, there's no access easement to get to the open space has to be usable, so there would need to be an access easement to one of those open spaces.
That's a DRT sort of thing? Okay.
Is it comment? Is it? Okay.
It's a comment that would have to be addressed by final plat.
By final plat, right.
And it would be done during the DRT process.
And there is a connection to Ashton Lakes,
Correct.
Is what it is. And that's for public safety reasons.
Okay. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing for preliminary plat for Heritage Ridge, which will be renamed. If you would like to come forward now, please do so. And please don't forget to sign in after.
My name is Matt Durkoltz. I was here for this plat approval about a year or two ago. And I understand while this meeting may be a mere formality, we all know the past issues regarding this plat and the destruction of the bald eagle's nest on this plat. So my question is, if that bald eagle's nest were still there, would this plat, as shown here, be approved? I don't think so. That's my question.
The public hearing is not a Q&A, but we can address that after the public hearing is closed.
Okay. By approving this plat and development of this property, you would be rewarding the past bad behavior of all the parties who have been involved with this development. At best, you would be ignoring the past bad behavior without imposing penalties. I strongly encourage denying approval for this plat and, in effect, begin to rebuild public trust for the City Council and for the Planning Commission. As an additional point, in the notes for this plat, there is concerns on wetlands regarding lots 1 and lots 48. I contend those notes should also apply to lot 10 that is overlapping wetlands, and even possibly lot 11, depending on the boundaries of the updated wetland study. My second question is, who will be ensuring the wetland boundaries will be adhered to? Hopefully not the same people that approved the Eagle's Nest destruction. And finally, I find it interesting that there is a polling location for the August 25th, 2026 local elections next to one of the neighborhoods that is adjacent to this property. If this preliminary plat is approved, as is, I encourage all citizens of the community to vote against any incumbent seeking an additional term for city seats. Thank you.
Anyone else would like to come forward about this agenda item? Seeing no one. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'm Randy Meadows, and I live in Ashton Park.
Your address.
I'm sorry?
Your address.
1922 North Ash.
Thank you.
If you'll pull that first diagram up, I'll show you right where my lot is. You see that NC 20?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm right in the middle there. My question is, what are they going to do about the runoff? Because they're going to clear everything just like they always do. And it's going to just run right down into Saugahatchee Creek. And Saugahatchee Creek runs right by Auburn University Golf Course over there. And they've all been flooded over there. We've been flooded. When it floods, it goes up in those woods 30 yards. I've seen it. And my question is what they going to do about that? How they going to keep it out of the creek? Because all it does is bring more silt and sand in there. It's already about this deep in there now. And it just piles up. That's my question. Where do I sign?
Right there, yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Good afternoon. My name is Alan Meyer, and I am also a resident of the same neighborhood as Mr. Meadows. My address is right next door, 1920 North Ash Court. I understand that you are not obligated to provide answers to any of my questions today, since this is not a Q&A, but I do have 5 questions that I would like to go on the record. My first question, which I do believe deserves an answer, is the developer here today?
We'll find out after your public hearing is closed.
Thank you. The reason I ask that is that we were told that the developer could answer several, or would answer several questions about issues such as plans for trees remaining and things like that, but I'm not sure I'm going to hear that today or when I'm going to hear that. But my other questions are which FEMA floodplain map was used for this planning? The last time I checked, there was a existing floodplain map and a proposed floodplain map. And the difference in the 2 floodplain maps is considerable. And so if you plan this or accept this plan based on the existing floodplain map, then several of these residents may be at risk in flooding. My next question has to do with plans for the floodplain, whether it will be clear cut, whether vegetation will remain I'm not an expert on this, but I do know that clear cutting or cutting back on the floodplain will have a significant effect downstream, which affects not only other communities, but also communities, neighborhoods within Auburn city limits. And I guess any other questions I would have would be for the developer, if the developer is here.
Thank you.
Questions be asked now.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah. I mean, if you have those, you should definitely ask them. So.
If you mean in the public hearing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if you have additional questions to go on the record, please feel free to say them now.
No, I do not.
Anyone else like to come forward about the agenda item at hand, Heritage Ridge? Good evening.
I'm Hope Scarborough. I live in Tivoli, the neighborhood.
Your
near
address.
2227 Vincente Drive.
You're welcome to pull this down.
Oh, good. I'm so short. My first question is, how will the residents of this proposed neighborhood will they enter off our main street going into Tivoli? I think I've been there like 15 years. Tuscany Hills, the main entrance off Highway North College. How would they enter the neighborhood? And my second question is, our pool is pretty much at full capacity in Tivoli, so we're concerned about the pool. So that's it.
Thank you. Please sign in.
Hey there, my name is Adam Greer. I figured I might as well, since these questions are important to have on record. Really just I'm in Grazia, 141 Grazia Way. So while my lot does not back up, just really similar questions that the people in the Ashton Park and neighborhoods live in. Just similar questions about, my neighbors across the street back up to this property. While the construction is nowhere near this, there's a considerable amount of flooding that happens already. And so again, just with construction, things like that, even though it's relatively far away, just to give some insight, when you're looking from Grazia and you're looking where the building is going to be, it's all uphill. So, just thinking about flooding and those types of things, I think a lot of my neighbors have questions about that. So just want to at least get that out there. So while it's clearly important because you have the Sagahatchee Creek, just the flooding on the other side is pretty considerable. I know there's and kind of what I'm talking about, maybe if there's a different image, it's where the sewer lines, where that is. Basically anything between that and the Grazia Way homes, there's a definitely considerable amount of flooding that happens just on the regular. So, but anyways, that's all I got. So thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else for the public hearing?
Hi there, I'm Bernie Berry, 2317 Vincente Drive. Just a few questions. I went back and watched the video from the previous request. I believe that was June of 24. And my first question was, were the answers that were presented in the public hearing, were those ever answered? Because I've heard several of those tonight. I know the HOA was a concern, the pool not being big enough to accommodate for the additional 48 homes. So, all of those questions, were those answered? Who is the builder of the homes? Maybe we can find that out from the developer if he is here. What will be the size and the price range of the homes? And when will construction begin if this is approved? And also, I think one of the questions in the previous hearing was how, as far as the entrances go, I believe that there was not a construction entrance that would be able to come off of North College. So will the construction entrances actually be through the roads that are entering the subdivision? So how is that going to affect, the roads, the traffic, the safety, of the residents of the subdivision? And also, I had a question of how does an entrance going through Ashton Lakes, how does that affect safety? The reason I ask is I've lived in subdivisions with one entrance. There is a safety factor to that. So one of the reasons we chose Tivoli was because of the one entrance and the safety factor of only being able to get in and out one way. Because I have seen instances where that provides a safety factor. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Public hearing is still open.
Yeah. You can only speak once. So yeah. If there's another item, you're free to speak. But since you already spoke during this public hearing, you can't speak again.
Okay. Can I ask somebody else to speak on my behalf?
Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Is anyone else speaking to the public hearing?
Yeah.
Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing. I will say that the HOA question, the pool question, the style, type, builder, price, none of that is within our purview this evening. So that will be a question for someone else, or call the builder or applicant at hand. I think maybe engineering can address runoff and stormwater.
Yeah. So I was gonna say, I guess we could probably answer. We can start with, I guess, the questions that staff can answer. I guess you guys had, and then we can shift to asking the developer kind of questions that they wanted. So whichever you'd like to start with.
Yep.
All right.
Let's talk about wetlands and stream buffers first. That will be handled by our watershed division and water resource management. As part of any standard development practice, we require the developer to provide wetland delineations that identifies any wetlands on site as well as any streams. We evaluate those from a watershed basis and establish stream buffers. All of that is outlined in our design and construction manual. All of the developments in town have to abide by the rules set forth within that manual. It also includes the erosion and sediment control. I think there was a question about runoff getting into Salgahatchee Creek. All of that is handled through our division. We make sure that proper silt fencing, proper BMPs, those types of things are put in place prior to
flooding on other property.
The flooding portion of it, when it comes to erosion and sediment control, we do have a small role in that, but the overall flooding, that would fall under Michael's purview. So.
And the maps used are the most recent that the city standard has.
That's a floodplain question. Michael can answer that.
Yes, ma'am. So there is an accepted FIS floodplain map that is accepted as an AE studied zone. Any changes or modifications different than what is presented during the DRT process, they would have to propose any changes and submit that to our office in order to accept it. So if it doesn't meet those conditions and the condition that is prevalent, like lots 1 and 48, as was mentioned, those homes would be required to have an elevation certificate. That's how we verify that they're actually not in the floodplain and the structure is not subject to flooding or inundation at that time. So they have to comply. So if we find during development that this map is not correct, they have to correct that. So there's no free pass with that.
Just to make sure I heard what you said. So there was an issue between the existing and proposed floodplain maps. And as we go through the process, which one's current?
Yeah, that is the current map that is presented. this one that is presented right
Okay,
here.
so what about the proposed one?
So this proposed one, they would have to submit an official document to change it if they wanted to change it, but I don't see a submission to change it at this point in time.
Yeah,
The developer would submit.
Yeah, and I guess I do want to provide some clarity. So this last submission happened before Michael came on, and so that was when FEMA was shifting maps from the 2011 to the updated 2025, and so at that time everybody was made aware that there was going to be a change in the maps, and people were trying to get submissions in under the old maps. But then when they were submitting, they were being told like, hey, there's a map adjustment, like this is something that you are going to have to account for. And so that is what they were talking about, is about there were old maps and now there are new maps. But now if you even go to, even on our maps that we use internally, they all use the 2025 floodplain map. So there's no discrepancy in maps anymore. There's one floodplain map that we have, and then the process that Michael is referencing is on certain properties people can contest and show like, hey, I think there's an error here, and there is a process to prove that you can on individual properties. And I think Michael is talking about that has not happened yet.
Right, just in front of the item that we have here, if they were to submit to try to modify it, it would be a conditional letter of map revision.
So the map that, I just want to, again, be real clear about this. When the citizen stated, is it existing or the proposed map? The map that we're using is going to be, in those terms, the proposed map.
That is the existing map today.
That's the map. Okay.
That is accepted by FEMA.
Got it.
Yes. And that leads me to ask the question, or answer the question that was asked about previous approved plat was in when?
Yeah, so that would have been 2024, and that would have been like when people were put on notice that the maps were changing.
Okay. And then the reason they're back today is because
The plat expired. And so for everybody in the audience, so we have a 18-month cycle for preliminary plats that they are kind of honored on. You can move forward and construct under those, and then we have an automatic extension for plats that are making good faith. So actively submitting plans, kind of in our DOT process with approved engineering plans, actively doing construction. So that extends to 36 months. And they had not done anything. They had an approved plat, and they just kind of sat on it. And so it expired, and so then now they're back. And so I think there might be a lot of consternation about that, because I think we remember the public hearing. I think we remember everybody showing up with the shirts, everything at council, and they let the plat expire. So that, like I said, it wasn't something where they were trying to avoid anything or anything. It was just the plat expired. And like I said, there was no good faith effort to make good or realize any of the lots on the plat to move through final plat.
So this is the plat.
Correct.
This is the same plat, and is the developer here today to?
is the applicant.
I still have one question.
Yeah,
One-
okay.
Yeah, staff question.
Okay.
I still have one question from a question that came from one of the citizens, and that was about, would you please explain why we would rather have another connection?
In terms of
Connecting to Ashton versus having a one-way in, one-way out.
Instead of one way in, one way
interconnectivity.
out.
Interconnectivity is a benefit, to provide ways to get in and out of a neighborhood in case of anything that occurs, or road work that may occur on a potential subdivision. Like in this instance, they only have one way out for the overall plan. So ideally, you would try to make a connection, but as this property is surrounded where they're developing now, currently, that is all floodplain and floodway. So we don't allow the filling of that, so to help offset or mitigate that. So these are about the only connections that they can make. And so it provides more than just one way in and out of this development. And also, one of the citizens had a comment about construction traffic. If we only provided one way in, that roadway at that point in time experiences much heavier traffic load.
Sure.
So we're kind of divvying up the construction load as much as we can between both of these entrances, because they are public access points.
That brings up a question for me. Both neighborhoods currently have final wear surfaces, correct?
Yes,
So
ma'am.
who's responsible for the additional final wear surface that, when it tears up those, if construction tears up those roads for those neighborhoods?
Yeah.
Who financially is responsible?
Anytime we're doing construction like this, we're going to need to get some background information and be able to track that. It's essentially would be on the city to be able to track that. If we see any defects that are being caused by the developer, we would approach them. I mean, there's currently nothing in that would keep them, from that. But to your point, that is one of the reasons why we delay final wearing surface as far as we can.
Let me ask another kind of related question. I hear many times when we are dealing with preliminary plats, a lot of the comments that come back are, well, that place floods every time it rains, and so this is another of those situations. The process of going through and trying to figure that out, isn't there something that we're trying to improve it? If it floods now, the idea is we don't want it to flood after all this building is done. So we do something on purpose to mitigate these current problems. Talk through that just a little bit.
Well, I would say I think for the vast majority of this property is actually floodplain, and so I mean they're not wrong about that. I think the development and everything that's happening just kind of with the residential lots, that is correct. But I guess kind of some of this other stuff is with this just being a buyer beware state, kind of backing up the creeks, that is just kind of a risk. And like I said, this was a significant floodplain. That's why most of this land is actually not going to be developed. But yeah, so that is the standard when we do go through the development process, is that if you essentially can't leave, like, development can't make it worse. This essentially is where we're at. And so whether that's detention, adding, infrastructure and those things, it varies just when there's commercial construction versus residential construction, or if it's greater than an acre, less than an acre. But with this being over an acre, there are stormwater retention things that they will have to meet. Like I said,
Part of the normal deliberation.
Correct. Yeah, it's all a part of the process that will be ironed out in our development review. When this comes back when this comes back for final plat. And then, like I said, I think just some things are just, if you live in proximity to a creek, really good to find out if that creek floods, and if you live in proximity to the floodplain. So just something to be very aware of as a property owner.
I think he brings up a point that maybe we need clarification on, but also maybe the public does as well. When we talk about flooding, I know that it flooded once on Christmas years and years ago.
Yes.
But I don't know how many times or how often it's actually flooded since then. My understanding is that flood then is where the 100-year floodplain had its adjustment to the map. Is that correct?
I guess that'd be a floodplain question.
I mean, it was. Yeah. I mean, obviously it was before your time, but it was maybe 9 years ago, I'm thinking.
I would have to know the base flood elevation or water elevation of where it was at, but the maps that are reflective here are what you see is when we fly like LiDAR, and then when that's available from the ADECA office, they update the maps with the latest information that is available at that time. And they run these models and generate these models and update these maps frequently, because as cities develop or infill develop, these maps change, and they reflect those changes based on what has occurred in development. So it's on our side to make sure that we adhere to our development standards, to make sure that we don't encroach in these areas any further, which our floodplain ordinance prevents encroachment unless you want to really mitigate it, which costs a lot of money. And you have a lot of engineering to do to mitigate that. So in this case, or in this regard, those floodplains are established today based on the latest data sets that are provided from ADECA, and then we help enforce that.
And then I think we had just a couple questions just kind of about construction in the floodplain. So yeah, as I know, most developers, I mean, it is a lot of work to actually develop in the floodplain. Oftentimes they deliberately try to stay out of it. They will subdivide property to keep it out of it, even if it goes on any part of the buildable footprint. So there's two distinctions. So there are things where you can build in the floodplain. That's not happening here. But there are places also where it's the floodway, and you cannot build in the floodway. I guess also kind of to the question earlier, just kind of about had this not been cut down, or had the tree not been cut down, like would this be happening? Like we said in that meeting then, that's not the purview of the city. That was something that permit was issued by a federal agency, and also we are bound, kind of like the comment that the chair read at the top of the meeting, kind of we're bound to our subdivision regs. And so if the plat meets or exceeds our standards, then it has to be approved. And so there are legitimate reasons to deny plats. And I said, if we find those, like we do come to the planning commission, we tell them, we let them know that, hey, this cannot move forward. Oftentimes those things do not make it to meetings because we're pretty adamant about it. But like I said, in that meeting in 24, and I'll say it again tonight, that was under the purview of another agency. And like I said, that we were not entitled to, we cannot deny something that meets our subdivision regs from a plat standpoint. And so that's just the bottom line on preliminary plats.
Are we ready for the applicant? Do we have applicant? Yeah. Is the applicant here? Would you please come forward? Hi. Your name?
Sam Leslie with Dilworth Development.
Thank you. Questions for the applicant?
Yes, let's start with, they were talking about the pool, the HOA. Explain that, please.
Sure. So just a little bit of background. We were very early on in our due diligence of this property. We have it under contract from the previous developer and landowner. And just to clarify, we were not the previous developer, and we're buying have the land under contract from them. So as far as the HOA goes, we have not had any discussions with the HOA yet. Again, we're very early on. Very happy to have those discussions with them. Obviously, there's architectural standards and things like that are part of their covenants and requirements that would need to be vetted. But happy to have that discussion. We don't have any plans for any amenities here, any additional amenities, but happy to reach out, and that would be part of our normal due diligence process anyway.
Okay, another thing that has come up is the buffer. I think you said there was a 70-foot buffer. Yeah, between this development and Heritage Lane behind it. Is that going to be cut or anything?
No. So our clearing limits are going to be basically, so all of the lots are inside of the floodplain. The rear of the lots really follow the floodplain. Mm-hmm. And so our clearing limits are going to be inside of that. I think we get outside, and again, civil design is very early on. We may grade outside of a few lots, but it's kind of in that middle section. I believe it's, I can't see the numbers, but it's kind of that north to south road that we get outside of that a little bit. But that buffer and all the other buffers really are going to stay wooded.
So everything that's in that flood part of the floodplain, it's not going to
right.
Be
That's
just
correct.
Stand.
Yeah, exactly. So I mean, the total parcel is 75 acres, and we're in. I think we wound up with 58 acres of open space. So only a small portion of this is actually being touched.
Okay.
And in
Go ahead.
The email we received, one of the homeowners in the area was asking about construction access routes. Tell us about that.
So I think the staff spoke to that a little bit. I mean, as far as the construction entrance goes, that's typically determined through design and through DRT. And so, I mean, there's two options, and so I think that'll come out through design, and we're happy to work with staff on that.
And I believe also in the email that we received from one of the homeowners behind this on Heritage Lane, they want to know the construction hours.
Yeah, so we, as far as site development goes, I believe it's 7 to 7. I think I think that's a city ordinance. Yeah,
that
right.
is correct.
So we'd stick to that.
Yeah. My question is this: so this is a second go at this preliminary plat. We've had 18 months. How come no progress has been made?
We were not the previous applicant, so we are. So we purchased this from, or we had this property under contract from the previous applicant.
Okay.
They decided to not move forward with the project.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Any other questions for the applicant? Thank you.
Thank you all.
Commissioners? Motions?
Move to approve PC case PP 2026-009.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
Good evening. The next case before you is a recommendation to City Council to amend the Farmville Mixed Use Plan Development District located at the intersection of East Farmville Road and US Highway 280. It's approximately 14.17 acres with a base zone of development district housing. And this PDD was originally approved in November of 2024. It had 68 townhouse lots, 12 multifamily units, and 12,000 square feet of commercial space. The new plan reduces the number of townhouse lots to 61, eliminates the multifamily units, and increases the commercial space from 12,000 to 24,000 square feet. The previous approval had, they used the incentive exchange to get a 10% increase in their base density in exchange for a 20-foot buffer around the perimeter of the site. The decrease in the density in the new plan removes the need for that incentive, so it is not applicable to the new plan. Staff recommends approval. We did receive one letter of correspondence from Mark and Jennifer Rump here at 2801 East Farmville, and I'll just summarize some of their concerns. They requested the traffic study be conducted during the school year. They asked that the 20-foot buffer be restored around the perimeter of the site, along with screening and an evergreen plantings. To keep the highest impact uses of the commercial uses on the 280 side, which include the gas station, drive-through, and mobile vendor food court, as well as the opportunity to maybe locate the commercial entrance on Highway 280. And I'm happy to answer any questions if you have them.
And I guess I do want to add context to that. We do not allow traffic studies to take place outside of the school year. So just for common knowledge for everybody.
Thank you. This does require a public hearing. At this time, I'd like to open the public hearing for Farmville Mixed Use PDD. If you'd like to come forward and speak to this agenda item. Seeing no one, close the public hearing. Commissioners, questions, comments, motions?
Move to approve case RZ 2026-014 Farmville Mixed Use PDD.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
And this next request is for the accompanying conditional uses in the Farmville Mixed Use PDD. They include institutional, office, commercial and entertainment, road service, nurseries, and commercial support uses. These specific uses you can see here. The property, the commercial aspect of the PDD is approximately 3.4 acres. And again, will be 24,000 square feet of space. Staff supports the majority of the uses that were requested, with the exception of the veterinary office kennel with outdoor pens. If recommended for approval, staff recommends as a condition of approval that all special development standards must be met unless a waiver is granted.
Like this is a corridor type cladding situation and
Well, those will be required regardless, but you may have, it should have been included, the list of uses that have special development standards within the zoning ordinance. There were some institutional, road service, and commercial and entertainment uses that have those special development standards.
thanks.
Thank you. This does require a public hearing. If you'd like to come forward and speak about the Farmville mixed use conditional uses, please come forward now. Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing.
Let's get the
Commission,
applicant.
is the applicant here?
Brett Basquin with the Foresight Group.
I have a question, and that's about the commercial area. and that's getting to it, entrance and all. Is it only going to be one, or is it going to be two? I see one near the intersection.
Yeah, we're showing one off of Farmville and then one off of the new city street that we add in the rear.
Right, okay. All right, and obviously, knowing what I know about AlDOT, there's no way that they would approve you to get in through the,
I mean, yeah, I mean, I can take that. Yeah, I mean, as of right now, there wasn't desire to have access off of 280. Previously, city frowned upon that with us from doing there. Really, if you're going to get any access off of there, it would be directional just because of the close proximity, plus it's 65 miles an hour. So at the end of the day, we were trying to consolidate our entrances off of the existing Farmville Road public street where there's turn lanes and everything there.
talking about the cladding, because it's on fronts 280, well, backs up to 280. Are y'all going to leave those trees there, or to hide it, or what?
I mean, there'll be trees between there are some existing vegetation between the road and the property line and the right of way. But in regards to, the front of that site sits up above 280 and then the back half falls down. So we would probably, on the commercial side, is probably going to be mass graded, right? I think, there's a creek that comes through there where a lot of that will be preserved along kind of the middle between the commercial and the residential. But yeah, I would envision most of the commercial sites going to be mass graded just to get enough flat area to get a pad in there.
Okay.
Any questions for applicant? Thank you.
Thank you.
So Commissioners, kennels with outdoor pens, are we removing that from the request?
Yes.
Okay.
Make those two requests.
Yeah.
And also, with all special development standards in the zoning ordinance, please.
So I make a motion for case CU 2026-046 to remove outdoor kennel facilities and, I lost it, that all standards must be met, special development standards must be met unless a waiver is granted to allow otherwise.
Yeah. So I think we removed those because I think it was in the staff recommendation that we pulled those out from the uses, like the veterinary office with kennels, or did we just kind of put that up for discussion?
Well, there were a bunch of other uses that have the special development.
Yeah. So we don't need the condition for the special development standards, since like those already, you have to follow those. But then the other one of the outdoor kennels. Yeah, outdoor kennels. Yeah, so motion's good. Yeah, I'm sorry.
Conditions for approval.
Yep.
So I have a motion.
Second.
Have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Good evening.
Evening.
This is a request to amend the district at Richland Road PDD. The original PDD was approved in November of 2023 and included 275 residential units, 8 acres of open space, and approximately 5.5 acres of commercial with 20,000 square feet of gross floor area. The PDD is located on Richland Road and Shug Jordan. The residential portion of the development is nearing completion, and the request is to amend this amendment to increase the floor area of the commercial component of the development from 20,000 to 30,000 square feet. This is an elevation of what the commercial portion will look like. This is the proposed PDD, the commercial component of it.
And you'll see that there's buildings along the frontages of that portion of the development. I did not receive any correspondence for this case, and staff does recommend approval to City Council. And I'll be happy to answer any questions you may have.
Are they going to have to meet some kind of standard for the backs of those buildings that face, I know Jordan they would. How about Richland Road?
Yes, we will not allow the mechanical equipment to be visible from the street, and any kind of
cladding.
Oh, the cladding, yes, it will definitely have to meet the 429.
Okay. What about deliveries? Yeah.
Deliveries, I do not know.
Yeah, I think that was always going to be difficult, but that was something that was addressed in the initial PDD. That was a condition, and so that was something that was going to be talked about. That'll be ironed out in DRT. So.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No. Thank you.
You're welcome.
This does require a public hearing. I'd like to open that at this time for the district at Richland Road. If anyone would like to come forward? Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Applicant here, do you have questions for the applicant? Okay, great.
I do.
Okay.
I do. I just, since part of our task is to be doing what's, and you probably don't have to even come up, what's best for the city as a whole. I'm curious about the landscaping plan and the maintenance plan for the property, and where the city holds that line.
From a timeline standpoint,
Yes.
as when it would be.
Yeah.
So there was a master landscaping plan done for the project overall. That landscaping plan was a bit schematic in nature for the commercial area. As the commercial area goes through the DRT process, that will be drilled down and be expounded upon greatly. But if you look right now, if you drive out there, there's a significant amount of elevational change between both the corner of Richland and pretty much the entirety of the Sugar Jordan right-of-way. The developer's intent is to heavily landscape that. There's already some landscaping in place, but all of that will be ironed out during the DRT, where a true landscape plan will have to be submitted and ensure that it meets the city standards.
Okay, and I'm asking this, I think, from the direction of, I know that it's more feasible to do the landscaping afterwards, but I just didn't know if there was any plan to do any landscaping ahead of time, just for beautification while some of that's.
So it's my understanding the commercial developer, this property was subdivided. The original applicant was a residential developer. They have contracted with a commercial developer to purchase this. If this amendment moves forward, it's my understanding it's the commercial developer's intent to move forward immediately with this and start processing this through DRT. I really don't think you would be able to adequately develop this site if all the necessary landscaping was in
Not all,
place right
yeah,
now.
Just some basics, so, okay.
And they understand the whole sign situation.
They do.
Okay. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Commissioners?
Move to approve case RZ 2026015.
Second?
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
All right, so 805 Gentry Townhomes, and so this is, even though it says townhomes, these are townhome style MUD, so it's all gonna be on one lot.
I have postponed on this.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
Changed them. Apologize.
Yeah. So, all right. So we, so we talked about this on Monday. That there was just a lot of discussion around the renew up like a road plan. I will talk about that. I just kind of give like an overview of the project. So this is located in CRDS. So on Gentry Drive, really can see it from Opelika Road. You'd have to drive up there to kind of go see what's currently there. And so currently, I don't know if they're occupied anymore, but they're was a mobile home park there. And the grade change from Opelika Road to that point of Gentry is very significant. We'll get into it in the Renew Opelika Road discussion. Another thing was the angle and I guess the sight distance and everything kind of making a right. It kind of, if you're going into town on Opelika Road and you have to make a right there on Gentry, there were future plans also just kind of address that access. If you want to go to the next slide. All right, so like I said, CRDS site area about 1.65 acres. This has beds. Where are we at? So total number of beds was 32 beds, and they did send us an updated site plan that had the 36 parking spaces. But this isn't gonna be kind of like our downtown like development where you guys see the garages underneath. Like you guys see, it is all the surface street parking that they have. So. Then with that, I think the biggest thing that we ran into was the cross-access easement and how you guys have the major street plan. So there is no major street plan that goes through here, but it was the Renew Opelika Road plan. So the Renew Opelika Road plan has to do with opening up those back streets. It's not the back streets, but providing access to some of the deeper parcels along Opelika Road. Some of those parcels are 400 to 500 feet deep. Some of them take access from Dean. Some of them take access from Opelika Road, and there's not that many in between Gentry Drive and Dean Road. And the goal was to provide and I guess this is the Temple side. Is there another one? Yeah, there we go. All right, so as you can kind of see on the further left side of the screen there, the goal was to get access road from North Dean Road all the way to Gentry Drive, and the Renew Opelika Road plan had an retail A street to go through it. So we haven't had that much redevelopment over here. I think the only thing that's happened has been there was the New Countries that went up recently, very good improvement, and also access management plan. There's the U-turns you can do. There is, I don't know the technical terms, I'm going to butcher this, but essentially where you get into the oncoming traffic to make the left into Niffers that I still see people miss and mess up and then make the left from the other lane, even though that lane is there to protect you. So those are really kind of been the only things that we've had happen. We've also had small sliders on Opelika Road as well. So this was kind of one of the first projects that actually ran into the Renew Opelika Road plan that required kind of not construction of a retail A street, but essentially the city getting either an easement right away. And so what we talked about was kind of what's required on those retail A streets. You can go to the next slide. Yeah. So there is a lot of ambitions in this plan. So there are 12-foot travel lanes, 2 of those, on-street parking on both sides, and then there's also tree wells. All of that, just kind of from a horizontal math standpoint, that is 50 feet of right-of-way. One of the things that we talked about was like, okay, well, we do need that the entire way. How are we going to handle that? And so a lot of conversation over the past week about how are we going to swing that with the elevation change at Gentry and I guess the intersection of this proposed retail A street. Michael can go into the technical details of it, but pretty much if we were to get 50 feet of right of way, he would not have the latitude to make that a safe intersection. And so he was like, I think we should taper this if we can. That'd give me a lot more flexibility. Lines on paper, more North Star than necessarily something that you hard and fast must do, kind of where we're going. So on this, we worked out and I guess kind of what's on the site plan is a 24-foot wide easement. I guess kind of numbers or something we can get to. I think engineering put together a proposal for a 35-foot easement that would then eventually start with the 35, allow Michael the latitude to design and correct that intersection at Gentry and Opelika Road, and also address the site distance concerns for anyone coming from the H Street into Gentry. And then as we got further down into the middle of that new retail A Street, whatever that name would be, it probably open up, taper a little bit, get to the 50 feet of right of way. So on that is how we got to the resolution of the condition that I'm going to propose for you all as an amended. But we did get to a point where we can support this. I just want to give you guys a lot of the background of kind of on Monday how we were like, I think we'd like to postpone this. We need to talk about this. We had a lot of conversation about it, just kind of from the technicalities of acquiring right away, road design, site design, intersection, all those things, just kind of talking with the engineering department. And now we're at a place where we can support this. So I have a condition that I'll read. But I guess before I get there, I'll just, any questions that you guys got from me, and then I guess we can have the public hearing, and then
So for this, this application specifically, that's a lot of, planning that goes into, the complete streets and all that stuff. What does that mean specifically for this case?
Right. Okay. Yeah. So what will happen is that they will. So the city and the applicant will mutually agree to kind of the location and the design of the easement needed for us to realize the Renew Opelika Road plan. Okay. And so the reason that this was such a big thing for us was that this property is the bookend of that retail A Street that goes between Gentry and Dean Road. And so it wasn't something where we could just go,
right,
not a big deal. Like, let's just not get it. Like, if we don't get the easement here, then it doesn't happen. And there are other things in the pipeline where possibly we could realize kind of having this road in about 4 to 5 years, which would radically change kind of the commercial possibilities over there and make a lot more of those parcels developable if there's a road that they can subdivide off of in the back. So for this property, this just means staff and the applicant will work towards a solution on the location and design of the easement. That is mutually agreed upon.
Okay, so then my question is for staff comment planning number 4.
Yeah.
That states it must adhere to the 2013.
And I think the additional condition that I guess I'll read would satisfy that. Like I said, I think just kind of working with engineering and kind of like we could get let's say we made the condition of a 50 feet right away. I think that would put the city in a bind from acquiring right away, but then also Mike would have a really impossible challenge. I know engineers see them as opportunities, like I like to remind them of, that they can design the road safer. But like I said, it's just it would be a hurdle to make that a safe intersection from a sight distance standpoint, and also kind of traversing the 20 feet of fall across that really narrow section of that lot.
Okay, so your condition you're going to tell us about after public hearing will replace and or be in addition to?
Would be an addition, and like I said, I think they would still meet the Renew Opelika Road stuff, like kind of with that. So that's fine.
Okay. This does require a public hearing. If anyone would like to come forward about the 805 Gentry Townhomes.
Velma Richardson. I live at 1121 Rustic Ridge Road here in Auburn, and that's just off Gentry. Mm-hmm. I do thank you so much for recognizing the danger of that intersection and the tightness just to get in off Opelika Road onto Gentry. In addition, because of the unique structure of that land, it's literally impossible to do much without being able to get off the road. It's very, very narrow. And we do have children in the area going to school, and there are no sidewalks. We already have one property that I don't understand. They have hedges up to the edge of the road, the curb. And I thought we could not do that in Auburn. We've been here about 40-some years, and they told me I couldn't. So I'm encouraged that we're talking about changing something about the property so that we can get development in the area, and excited about the road. Utterly excited about the road, because I have to come out there and take my life in my hands when I come that way. And so I thank you for the attention you pay to this. I am concerned about this means that it's all in the future at this point, because first of all, we have to acquire the road to do a parallel road with Opelika Road. Is that not correct?
Yeah, so I'll answer your questions kind of after the public hearing.
Okay. Well, so anyway, as I said, I'm very excited about it. And I hope at the same time we'll be able to get sidewalks also for the children, because there are a lot of people who walk and live in the neighborhood. Thank you.
Thank you. Will you please sign in, ma'am?
Oh, I forgot to sign.
Hello.
Hi.
Tomikia Rush, 922 Harvard Place, right off of Gentry as well. So an extension of that, the question would be the safety measures. That would go into that. That road is already used as a cut-through road. We've had a sign there before, like watch your speed. But further than sidewalks, it would be the consideration of speed bumps and more cameras because the fire truck comes through there wide open. People off of the main highway cut all the way through into blind curves. So it would be the consideration of all the traffic safety going into those curves. Yeah, and then the curve, the blind spot, the hedges, everything that she mentioned, making sure that we're all in the zoning area because the kids do have to stand out there for school, like literally stand there. There's no way to stand back off the road, and there's also parking along that road that creates further issues for the children to be there safely or even to drive at night. So I guess that includes lighting too, the lighting, the hedges, speed bumps, all that taken into consideration when we open it up further to the public to come through there. So, yeah.
Thank you. Anyone else like to come forward? Oh.
I'm gonna hopefully remind you, we've been.
Your name and address, please.
Dawn Richardson. I live on Rustic Ridge Road. Please remember that as you're adding all of these additional beds in this neighborhood, trying to change our neighborhood, that we did have a child that was killed not that long ago. I still remember it like it's yesterday. Since that time, I've asked for speed bumps. I've written on Gentry, on Bond, on Drew, on Rustic Ridge Road, and they do use it as a cut-through. I've asked for roundabouts. So I would hope when you seriously consider adding more people in this area, this tight area, that you would find a way to make it safer. We have no sidewalks. The kids are in the streets. And my concern are the little people. Yesterday, a kid just jumped out in front of me. So I imagine having more kids closer to Opelika Road on Gentry, it would be more dangerous. And I really hope you don't develop this. I just don't. So thank you for listening.
Thank you. Anyone else? Seeing no one, I'll close the public hearing. You want to address?
Yeah, so I guess kind of several things before I kind of kick it to Michael, since a lot of others kind of engineering questions. So from a sidewalk standpoint, so they actually recently just did, a former planner just designed a pretty sophisticated model to kind of identify and prioritize all of the places where they need sidewalks. And so Michael probably have a better answer about kind of where this area kind of fell on that scale. From a speed bump standpoint, so you can request traffic calming. That is something where you can, and I guess that can be looked at. Once again, something that you can kind of bring up to staff, just kind of around that. And I think kind of from the future standpoint, as far as like the road and just kind of the realignment, unfortunately, I think that is kind of the thing. Even though, like, we do have immense redevelopment pressure and we are able to make progress on a lot of these things where we can clean those up, we are kind of beholden to when properties do come in and they do redevelop. So that is something where, we are looking at. And like I said, I think kind of with the like as the Renew Opelika Road plan is realized, like I said, I think kind of changing that intersection, making it safer, and then also kind of looking at Gentry Drive, if that is something where we can add sidewalks. Like I said, I think there are places from a classification standpoint where those roads are required, but I don't know if Gentry is. And like I said, we'd have to get a significant amount of redevelopment. But from a priority standpoint, that has been something that engineering and staff has been looking at, of identifying places where we do need additional sidewalks in town. So, and then I guess, Michael, just kind of anything you wanted to add from traffic standpoint, traffic calming, any of those other things.
I think you kind of said it.
Yeah. I am interested though a little bit in that, just to briefly about the sidewalk. You said they've created some kind of a model.
Yes.
Like what are some of the criteria that might put you higher up on the decision process to get your sidewalk first?
Yeah, so it had to do with number of people living in proximity to just kind of these zones that didn't have sidewalk, what the zoning was, and so if there was going to be high density, and then just kind of its proximity to resources and amenities. So I think kind of one of the things that was I think was actually down there on EUD, which is like EUD and South College, like right across from. What's that? The Aldi's, kind of going up to the Houston Clinic. Yeah, so that entire stretch there on that side of the road does not have sidewalk. And so just kind of, that was one of the higher ones. But like I said, it was existing zoning, existing density already over there. And a lot of those things where you see where they developed and before we had the standards where they would have had to put in sidewalks.
There is a lot of on-street parking in this area.
Yes.
Is there something to curb that? Since
There is an existing policy that, is a request that can be presented to City Council. That is actually under review right now. We've had an existing policy that if you had owned a parcel, you can make that request to City Council by contacting your City Council person first and then asking that question. They will present that. It will be reviewed by staff. But in my experience, removing on-street parking in some classifications of streets actually promotes speeding. So if you have wider roadways in and of itself, and you remove that parking on both sides, basically it tells people like, okay, press the gas pedal, let's go. So that speed of that roadway is 25 miles an hour. They can certainly request to my office to do traffic calming. I'm open to a whole plethora of things to assess it and look at it from its individual component, but we're focused on the site in and of itself and their design and development requirements just specifically for the site in and of itself. If they trigger those improvements or set improvements along that section of roadway, but it wouldn't be like off-site improvements unless it was, a very big generator of traffic. And this is more of like a residential component. It's not like a grocery store or equivalent thereof. So we would look at it along its frontage of that independent property.
Yeah, and I guess kind of to be very clear, those improvements would be separate of this. And kind of to what Mike was alluding to, any offsite improvements that we do require have to have a nexus to that project, like a tied immediate nexus, not something. So I guess like to their comments and complaints, those are things that we can address separately, not necessarily something that we would stick with the developer to do.
That's what I wanted to hear.
Yep.
Was this starts the potential for movement.
Yeah, correct.
For traffic calming, for speed bumps.
For lighting.
Yeah,
for
lighting,
sidewalks,
for the
whatever.
And so when you were talking about sidewalks and priorities, where does this
Yeah.
area line up in terms of where on the list is it?
You may answer that.
Yeah.
Okay. So right now we have a system where we select sidewalks, and sometimes I think in the past it was done somewhat arbitrarily based on citizen demand. So we had run a couple things, a model based on how many people we could connect, do we have right of way, the cost, and those metrics are done by analytics basically. And that map we have not shared yet basically, and we are looking to use that to help plan for sidewalk projects and implementations in the next fiscal year. But there are a list of projects that can be generated out of that based on the highest demand or need that can certainly be modified based on the metrics that we've used to analyze that. And it comes from a GIS kind of component. We have a connections based on the distance between neighborhoods, how many people it could connect. Obviously, that would focus on higher denser areas. There could be a component that we include the existing neighborhood, how long it's been there without sidewalk. So it's open to review, but we have not accepted or, said that is like written in stone at this point.
Okay, so it's not funded.
Right. Well, we have budgets that we do request, and
Yeah.
those budgets are moved over
Yeah.
from year to year. So it's not on the request, but if somebody certainly requests it, we can analyze it and add it to that list if needed. And
I gotta believe safety is one of the criteria, though.
Oh,
that might
absolutely.
put it up there. So to
Yeah.
me, this seems like more of a safety issue than a density problem or
Right.
something like that.
So fatalities are really high on the list. If there is present one that we track that, that is subject to non-reveal because it has information based on those people. But when we have that information and we review it analytically, and a lot of people look at me sideways when I say this, there is a value associated with that, right? And there's a benefit to cost. But it's not to identify like, is it worth doing? No, it identifies the priority of the benefit of the safety that we derive from doing projects on that route. And so if there is that, we can certainly look at that from it's a hotspot analysis of what we do.
Right.
And then 9 times out of 10, it's higher justification to go do that project in that area first before you go anywhere else.
Let me ask you.
Yeah. So I just kind of answer your question. The map, I guess Logan didn't share a map with it. He has the locations, but it's all like GIS stuff. So it's actually like coordinates and like GIS. So I wouldn't be able to tell you like the actual like street names and addresses. So I'd have to pull it up in a map. So I can't answer that.
I was going to add, and Phil made a really good point. I think, these are some issues that relate to safety and things, and I know we've dealt with residents in this area before. I was going to make sure I contacted these residents and give them my business card after that we conclude this, so that they could get me, and I'll set up a meeting with city engineer and public safety as needed.
Let me ask you one question, because they talk about, and you said that Gentry is 25 miles an hour because it's a residential street. Mm-hmm. But she is correct. It is used as a cut-through street. And there is a lot of traffic, particularly if Dean's full and backed up. People will cut down Gentry. When do we do, and I know we do it when we're looking at traffic counts, but when do we do traffic for these streets like Gentry, which were residential and have been forever, but now really are cut-through streets straight through?
Yeah. So a lot of times they're driven by complaints that we receive.
Okay.
So the Fix-It app, somebody can put in a request to the traffic department. That starts the process.
Right.
And so if somebody disagrees that somebody's not following the speed limit, we'll get with public safety, and then we'll put counters out there, and we'll actually see what people are traveling at on that highway. So if y'all are familiar with the 85th percentile,
Right.
If people are tracking more so than 25 miles per hour at 10 miles per hour or over, that's a red flag to us to say, hey, this street is not accommodating the speed limit that has been assessed on it. What are our options to mitigate that, to reduce the speed on the street? That is a toolbox for traffic calming. It's a wide array of things that you can do. Striping, raised islands, traffic circles. So we can assess each independent section or node along that street and address those improvements to reduce that speed. Follow up with another speed study to make sure that our assessment was correct and our implementations did actually work.
So again, it's driven by residents' complaints on that street.
And staff when we identify them, and information as we receive it. So we sometimes often have overlap of data collection that sometimes will let us know, hey, we've already seen that.
Right.
So, and if we have that data, we'll act on it.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Commissioners, we have a conditional use to make decisions on.
Oh, yeah. So then I guess I'll go ahead and read the condition for you.
Oh, yeah, we just did it. We just talked.
Okay, so the additional condition would be applicant agrees to dedicate cross-access easement as shown on the attached conditional use site plan and the final location and configuration of which may be modified by mutual agreement of the applicant and the City of Auburn during DRT review and approval of the project.
Can we add that as a condition, what you said?
Yeah, that'll work. That'll work.
As stated by the.
I make a
record.
motion for KCU 2026-044 with conditions.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Thank you.
right, so this is a conditional use request for Neos Church. The applicant is requesting an incidental use located at 665 Opelika Road for a church. The zoning district is Corridor Redevelopment District Urban. You can see here that the property has access directly off of Opelika Road. So as we go, oh yeah, and there's the future land use, mixed use one. So looking at this exhibit here, this is the existing building, which of course is right here. The site plan is splitting this building in half, almost. The entire building is about 16,000 square feet. And the church use, which previously we had a church use here that was approved in November. What we did or discovered during the inspection process of the build out was that the site plan did not match what the applicant was actually wanting to build or what was going on inside, thus prompting it another conditional use request. So previously, a church use was approved as well as a by right office use, which is also allowed in Corridor Redevelopment District Urban. Now the applicant's coming back and saying, hey, this is a new site plan, and with that, they're wanting a new conditional use. They said that the church can have about 80 to 100 people in the main auditorium, which is about 20 to 25 parking spots that is required. But with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions before I open the public hearing? We'll open the public hearing at this time for conditional use of Neos Church. If you'd like to come forward at this time.
Hey there. Hi. I'm Ian Morrison. I live in Auburn at 2703 Cantera Court. I just want to say that I'm here in support of the conditional use request for Neos Church. The purpose of the Corridor Redevelopment District is to encourage the revitalization with a thoughtful mix of uses. I believe a church would be appropriate for that institutional use and complements the vision. Neos will activate an existing property, serve the community, and do so with relatively limited impacts compared to many other commercial uses that could occupy this site. So I would just respectfully ask the commission to recommend approval.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Did you sign in, sir?
Oh, shoot.
Anyone else like to come forward? Seeing no one, close the public hearing. Commissioners?
Move to approve case CU 2026-045.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
All right, so this is a request from Brandon Bolt. The applicant is requesting conditional use approval for an outdoor recreational use / subdivision amenity, which consists of a pavilion, pool, and a playground. The property is located at 1827 Kenai Pass and is located in Development District Housing Zoning District. You can see here, this takes place within the Prosper at Plainsman Lake subdivision. This is an amenity lot, and future land use also shows this as low / medium density residential. This is the site plan. Previously, this was approved in a final plat, but the label or the use of the recreational nature was not clearly labeled, so prompting a conditional use. There will need to be an admin plat adjusting the lot lines of this later on, but that will be dealt as just an administrative plat. So with that, I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. Any questions? Thank you. This does require a public hearing for conditional use for subdivision amenity. If anyone would like to speak. Seeing no one, we'll close the public hearing. Commissioners?
I'll move to approve KCU 2026-047.
I have a question first.
Oh, you got more questions?
That's okay. That's okay.
Still second.
I have a question about the parking. Is that going to be decided later? Because I see there's 11 off-street parking.
Yeah, I guess, I mean, we'd probably have to look at like what the standards would be for parking. So I guess if it was inadequate, kind of like in DRT, then we'd point that out.
Okay.
And so I guess like the most recent one I'm just familiar with, Oak Creek has a similar one where it's kind of off-street parking where their mail kiosk is, but they just have a pool there. This does have a little bit more than that. But that probably serves a much bigger kind of neighborhood shed. So.
Okay.
Okay.
Sorry.
Would you like to continue with your motions?
I would. I make a motion to approve KCU 2026-047.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay, this next request is for a waiver to Table 5.5 Development and Design Standard Requirements in the Urban Neighborhood East zoning district. The subject property is at 136 South DeBartoleben Street. It is approximately half an acre, and the applicant is in the process of permitting a 5-unit, multi-unit development on this site. There is a slight discrepancy between the site plan or the elevation here and the staff report. The staff report says the waiver would reduce the first story height from 15 to 12 feet. It actually needs to be 11 feet 6 inches, so a 3 foot 6 inch waiver. And the way staff determines floor height is we measure from floor to floor. So I don't think you can place it here, but from here to here is 11 feet 6 inches. And this is going to give the appearance of a 13 foot 6 inch first floor story height from the outside. I'm happy to answer any questions you might have.
What, didn't we talk about on the other side where the door is missing? It appears that
We
the door is
did.
missing.
Yep, they've added a door. This is the side here on the left that will be facing DeBartoleben, so they've added the door.
Facing
here.
the street.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. As a waiver, it does not require a public hearing. So, commissioners.
Right now, there's 15 feet that's required. And so I'm just going to ask. She said it's not 12 feet, it's 11 feet 6 inches. I know, 11 and a half. Is that going to be a problem? Aren't we looking at updating this to have them all to 12 feet or are we
Yeah,
going
so
lower?
that's a good question. So I think normally I think on things like this I'm fine kind of challenging designers to just kind of meet the standards. 12 would be fine, but I think kind of to your point about what the future is going to be on this one, the DeBartoleben probably will not be on the corridor, and so the height requirement of 15 feet definitely won't apply to this one. I think even the height requirement of the future of 12 feet may not even apply to this one. And so I'm not sure what they're going to move that number to, and then kind of also what those corridors are going to be, but I'm pretty sure kind of like in the preliminary stuff that we already looked at, DeBartoleben's not on the corridor, so it'd be an 11, 6, 12, not really, minuscule.
Right.
Is this one that the architectural committee reviews?
Yes, and so they have not met. They're not able to meet again until August, which was kind of standard for them, just kind of with the summertime. But the biggest thing with this one was living space, and they want doors on streets, and so they are not keen on if you're just going to have a blank wall, windows, garages. They are very hostile towards that. And so they have supported the 15 to 12. And like I said, I think in our latest conversation, they want to establish corridors. And like I said, if this was one of the corridors, we would not be moving forward with this. So.
Okay, then I'll move to approve WZ 2026-007, 136 South DeBartoleben Street.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you.
Okay.
Now for the fun part.
Now we're through.
Oh, we can't go home.
No, you're not finished yet. I'm not up for this. No job for me. But we do have the joy of electing officers this evening so that someone can conduct next month's meeting. So, I will say that from an experience standpoint, we are a pretty young planning commission. And while we need nominations from the floor, I just wanted to express that currently Dana is the vice chair and Oscar serves as the secretary. Phil is also available, even though we thought as the mayor's representative, he could not serve, he can serve. And then also Jennifer has experience on city council as well as planning commission. So I say all that to say that y'all are voting, but I wanted to give you my thoughts and recommendations on the people who I feel have the experience to move forward.
Pull it off. Okay.
So I'd like to open nominations from the floor for chair.
I'd like to make a nomination for Oscar Mosley to be the chair.
Don't have to have a second. Don't have to have a second?
Sure.
Second.
Okay, are you willing to accept a role if voted in?
Yes.
Okay.
I would accept it.
Yeah, because I imagine it's that, and then I guess if anybody else wants to nominate anybody else, yeah, they don't take votes.
We are still accepting nominations from the floor
I'd
for
like to,
chair.
I would like to nominate Dana Camp as chair.
There you go.
I need a second.
Second.
Dana, are you? That's not weird at all. Dana, if voted in, are you willing to take responsibility of this chair? Thank you. Anyone else would like to nominate from the floor? Okay, great. All right, now, everyone, ladies and gentlemen, we need to vote. I'm sorry, this is new for me. Trying to get through it. Do we vote individually or all together? Do we roll call? What?
Yeah, I imagine so roll call's weird.
I
It
agree.
is.
Right.
Should be like
Yeah.
all in favor of one.
Yeah, that's where I would. I guess like that's where I would be at on it. We almost need a parliamentarian for this.
Yeah,
We do this once a year, right? So it'd be like a 1 year.
No, so I mean Oscar. Yeah. So whoever got nominated for the chair would be the chair until that person was until they decided they didn't want to be chair. But yeah, they'd be the chair.
we definitely have elections every year.
We have elections
It
every
seems like we
January.
have
Yeah.
them all
So
the time.
January.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we have them every January.
We do.
Okay, so annual elections in January.
Election. Okay. Well, no, I wasn't sure. Okay, so it's an annual thing.
That's
Okay.
true.
Okay, great. So we have two nominations for chair. All in favor of Oscar Mosley? Aye.
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 F3. That's what I heard. Did I hear 4? I see, that's why we can't do this via aye.
Yeah, man.
Roll call.
Yeah.
Write it down on a piece of paper.
Yeah, no, let's just do roll call. Man, this is really complicated.
Dana Camp.
We vote no.
Roll call.
Are you
Is
voting
that
for
for-
yourself?
I'm not voting.
You're not going to vote for yourself?
Well, why not do a roll call?
Roll call. This is-
And then you say who
Yeah.
you're gonna vote for.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. That makes
There's
sense.
only 2 people.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, great. Roll call, please.
Dana Camp.
Dana, that's what you want to say.
I accept. Yes. David.
You say who you're voting for.
Dana.
You voting for yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
Why not?
All right.
Nanette Reese.
Dana.
Vanessa Eccles. Dana Camp. Jennifer Lover.
Oscar Mosley.
Phil Chancellor.
Dana Camp.
Jennifer Stevens.
Dana.
Oscar Mosley.
Dana.
Walker Davis.
Oscar.
Dana Camp.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Yes. Thank you for taking the position. Okay, for vice chair, we need nominations for the vice chair.
I'd like to nominate Phil Chancellor.
I need a second.
Second.
I have a motion and a second. Any other nominations from the floor for vice chair? If nominated, do you accept the
I
position
do. I'll
of
do
vice
that.
chair?
I'll be glad to.
Okay. Any other nominations? Seeing none,
Congratulations.
congratulations.
Those don't have a roll.
Okay. And for secretary,
I'd like to nominate Oscar Mosley.
Well, he is currently secretary, so you really technically do not have to vote that one because you already
He's
elected
already
that
there.
one.
He's already
I'm
there.
already there. so
would you
just
like to
leave me there.
continue
Of course.
serving?
I'm here to serve. Whichever way
Whichever
the
way
commission
you
needs,
decide.
I will
Slate of
serve.
officers.
We do currently have the slate of officers, Dana Camp as chair, Phil Chancellor as vice chair, and Oscar Mosley as secretary.
Works for me.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay. Thank you and congratulations to you all.
Congratulations.
I would like to take a couple of minutes to tell you my farewells. I have truly enjoyed this. I have enjoyed every citizen who took the time out of their day to come here. I have learned an immense amount about our municipality, how it works, and I would like to encourage anybody out there who has any interest in learning more to sign up, find out, come watch a meeting in person, and ask questions. So, thank you.
Can
and
I
have
say
enjoyed my
something?
time.
You're here.
You're here. I've enjoyed being here and working with Nonette. She's been just great. And I just want to tell you, if there's nothing you need to do on a Thursday night, Thursday evening, come on down.
You might see me again. I just won't be in this seat.
We look forward to it.
Yes.
Well, thank you so much. We need to vote to adjourn, unless there's any other.
No, I don't think so, man. I'm good.
Okay, great.
Move to adjourn.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.